morning. Tom here, Flip Anything USA. Gonna have a quick micro lesson here for you, just something that should be talked about. Now, I know a lot of you start, out and maybe don't even have any credit. I want to talk to some of you that are a little more established. It's very important, and I'm going to talk about this. I mean, credit and cash, of course, it's rocket fuel for investors. It really is. And I know a lot of you are starting without any, and that's how I started with Zip. But I built it up, and then, like I say, like a big cart. I tell you this analogy a lot. It's like a big cart. Once you get rolling, it's hard to stop, and it's hard to want to stop too. It's just fun. But so, what was the first thing, son? So yeah, credit. It's important you know where you stand. I mean, some of you already know, but a lot of you, if you've already established and got a job, you don't know really where you stand. If you don't already own something, if you haven't really borrowed much money, you don't know where you stand, and you need to know where you stand, because that's really important, because a lot of you are probably in a lot better shape than you know it, and you may have a lot more power to borrow money than you know. And listen, the importance of getting like a pre-qualification letter. If you don't know what that is, when you go to buy a house, if you want to be able to strike quickly and buy something, and agents, of course, they don't want to waste their time with you unless they know that you are credible and can get a loan, or they need to know exactly where you stand. And some of you don't even probably know where you stand. And I know, because I have a relative that I told to go do this, and they hadn't got back with him right away, because what's that say? So look, wait, what's that say here?
Hey Tom, soon as I came, you want. Okay, I got it.
Okay, so anyways, it's important you know where you stand, and so I'll give you an example. There's that, and then there's also what I call like a letter of standing. That's also important, because that's probably for guys that have buying bigger stuff like me. But so let's talk for about letter of not a letter of credit, but a qualifying letter. So in other words, you need to go down to a mortgage lender. They run your credit check, and they're going to tell you how much you qualify for. In other words, you say, hey, how much of a loan can I get, on a house? How much of a mortgage do I qualify for? And of course, they're going to take the current interest rate. They're going to look at your income, and they're going to figure out what kind of a mortgage payment that you can afford. And then based on that, they can calculate, for you that, yeah, hey, we can loan you $100,000 or $200,000, or looks like $400,000.
Tom, thank you, all the way from the UK.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Okay, you got them to reflect back on, so that's good. So it's so important that you get that, and I'll give you an example. Like I got in a bid war, kind of a bid war. It was a silent bid, and I kept getting outbid. I got outbid, and then they went with the higher bidder, but they didn't go with the best bidder, because those guys would fall apart. A lot of times you'll see a big group, they'll impress the realtors or the people that they're dealing with to buy. It's a big group, and they want to put in a Walgreens, they want to put in a this or that. Man, listen, when I know I'm competing against a bigger group, I love it, because those guys have the highest probability of falling apart. But where I'm dealing with just me, so I just go up and I just say, look, I don't need a group to buy your building or buy your whatever. I've got money, I've got credit, here's a letter of standing, and I might have a letter from a bank that says, and I got an example, one of my bankers had actually switched banks, but I ended up getting a letter from both. So one, I had a letter from the bank that I'd already borrowed, millions and paid back as agreed, and that's basically what she wrote. She wrote, Tom has borrowed, over $3 or $4 million, and has repaid all that money as agreed. And we would loan him that much money again if the right project comes along that he wants to buy. Paraphrasing, it was written better than I just wrote it for you or just said it for you. But that's kind of like my qualifying letter. You know, it basically said, hey, we'll loan Tom, you know, $3 or $4 million, you know, as long as the property price is right. And so even if it's just a house, that if you want to buy a house right now, and let's just say you might want to buy something, because listen, the power is being able to close. I mean, listen, I love flipping, but most of the stuff I flip, I close on now. I've been that guy that, you know, doesn't have the cash to close, and I've done the assignments and I've done all that stuff, and it's a fine way to make money. But today I'm talking to you guys that already have credit, and maybe you don't even know it. And if you don't know it, I mean, you've got power. And that's why I tell anybody when they say, when somebody tells me they're going to go buy a house, I say, well, what do you qualify for? And then they go find out if they don't already know. And let's just say you qualify for a $200,000 loan. You know, you got a good job, you've been working somewhere maybe 10 years. Well, that is like having, say, it's like having $250,000. In other words, you have power. When you go in and you make an offer, you can say, yeah, I'm going to give you $200,000 cash. I'm going to buy this for $200,000 cash, because it's cash to them. And they'll say, what do you mean you're going to give us cash? And if they ask for proof, say, oh yeah, no, I'm pre-qualified. The bank said, you know, no problem. They'll give me $200,000 plus, you know, maybe you got $10,000 or $20,000 to put down. Don't squander that credit. And when I say squander, I don't mean don't just not use it, but realize you have power. I mean, you have money. Listen, it doesn't matter if I have cash and you have 20 grand in, you know, in a line of credit, or you know, and you're pre-qualified for 200,000. We're equal. I mean, the only thing is I can probably close it overnight, you know, in a day. I can write a check for it, but it doesn't really matter. Things don't have to move that quick for most people. So if we were competing against each other, you know, somebody says, well, I'll be out of here in a month, so it doesn't really matter that you can pay me off in 3 days, and this guy can, you know, pay me off, you know, he's got to get a loan and pay me in 15 days. You know, it doesn't really matter, because the person just wants to close in 30 days. And the question is, can we close in 30 days? Yeah. So in other words, you know, even if we had a standoff on it, you know, you could still beat me out, even though I have cash. You still have cash too. You still have cash too. And that's important. And so be mindful of your power. People don't realize how much power they have. And so you gotta get credit. And if you don't have, and you may have more credit than you even know, go get your credit established. And I'm not talking about you guys that are just starting. I'm talking about people that have already been paying rent and, you know, have a car, this sort of thing. I'm talking about you guys that already obviously have some credit. You may have much, much more credit than you realize. And that credibility, it's so much power that sometimes people don't even, you know, I talk to people that are renting that have had a good job for 5 years, and I'm thinking, are you kidding? Why? What are you doing? I mean, you got a steady job, you got a decent income, you've been paying rent. I mean, you have a track record of paying your bills on time. You buy. And so that's what's so important is, so I don't want you to not realize how powerful you are. Also, hey, while I'm at it, push that notification button so that you get notified, and please like my videos. I got a lot of people watching that don't like it, but they watch the whole damn video, so I know you must like it. So please hit that like button. That'll help me. You know, look, I don't charge anything. I don't have commercials. I don't have any of that stuff going on, but that'll help me. Also, I'm going to be giving away a gift. I mentioned in the last thing, it's going to be cool. I want to see you guys make some money, and so I'm going to give you a tool that's just going to blow you away. It's not quite ready, but you're going to get it, and just help me how you can, and I'll help you how I can. So anyways, but go get that letter of qualification, or you know, go visit with a mortgage lender or bank. Also, you know, or maybe you already own a home that you bought 10 years ago and you've just been sitting there idle, and your only goal is to pay off your home. Well, that's fine. But if you want to make money and like go into the stratosphere, like say rocket fuel, you know, really take off, then, you know, go see about getting a line of credit. You know, have a ready to go line of credit, you know, in the form of a second trust deed on your home, or you know, or something like that, because it'll give you the power. Because like right now, listen, I can be broke. When I say broke, I mean I always have working capital in all my different accounts, and I've got a lot of different accounts because I have a lot of different properties. But I can be essentially broke. In other words, all I have is operating capital in all my accounts, because for whatever reason I pulled all the money out and I bought something, and now I'm broke again. that happens. But I always have credit. I can always, and I mean, I have lines of credit. Sometimes I pull from them for a down payment, and then I borrow the rest. So it's 100% finance to me, because I pull from one line of credit for a down payment, and then I grab the rest, and then I just finance the rest. Or I'll pull from a couple lines of credit, and I'll pay cash sometimes. But then what I do is I pay that line of credit back down. I always get it back down to my comfort level, or usually I just get it back down to zero. Rarely do I get it down to zero before I, find something again that I want to buy, and then there are times when, my cash is gone, and I've exhausted the lines of credit. Not exhausted them, but I've exhausted them enough that I'm not going to take them any further, because I always like to have a little there, because for the rainy weather, right? The rainy weather when it comes. I always have a rainy day fund. So, and that's important too. But I'm talking about right now is I'm talking to you guys that probably have more credit than you know, and you need to go find out where you stand. And because when you know where you stand, I mean, who doesn't want to know where you stand? You got to know where you stand, because you may have much more power than you know, or you may not be as strong as you think you are. And either way, you don't want to be lost, and you're lost if you don't know where you stand. So go visit a mortgage lender, go find out, assess your capital that you've got available, that sort of thing, and go visit with some finance people. And I'm talking about, your bank that you've been doing business at for a while, and because they're the ones that are most likely going to, be the nicest to you. And but sit down, visit with them, and just tell them, say, look, yeah, I'm gonna buy something. I always pay my bills, and I'm looking at doing some things, and I just want to have some either capital ready, or I'm gonna go buy a house, or I want to buy a second house, or whatever. But really, don't waste this fantastic resource. So many people have bad credit, and if you have bad credit, go fix it. But that's for another video. But if you have good credit, or you don't think you have any reason to believe you don't have good credit, go find out. So I'm gonna leave there. Please push that notification button. I want to gift this out here pretty soon. But again, I only want to do it with the people that are the most engaged. Because I want people that are winners. I want you guys to really knock it out of the ballpark. You went and read to me, son. But wait. So if you're engaged, if you're in the notifications, I'm going to, you're the what I'm looking for. I want people to benefit. I mean, I'm sharing this with you, and I'm not doing it just for fun. You know what I mean? I want to see a result from it. And so the way I measure results is the way I measure my results with all my real estate deals. I measure it by numbers, right? If I see people like what I do, I feel like I'm doing a good job. And and if I see you guys, engaging and making money, then I feel like I'm doing a good job too. So otherwise I'll move on. I'll move on to another investment, right? But so what do we got for questions, son?
All right, from Harlem World, Tom, explain how to become a accredited investor.
Okay, Harlem, really, and I know, like I'm saying, I'm talking right now about, paying your bills on time. And I mean, if you pay your bills on time, you're already building your credit. If you have good rental history, you already have it. If you own a home and you've been paying on your home for 10 years on time, then you probably have it. That's how you become credible. Now, the more deals you have, well, believe me, when I go to a new bank and they see my portfolio and they see 15, 20, whatever, 25 maybe now, individual entities, I mean, they just, first their heads just kind of hurt, because there's just so much property. There's just so much real estate. And a lot of them are just, they're not used to it. But sometimes you have to educate the bank. But once a bank sees, like my banks know me. I have 2 main banks, 3 now. They know me. They know me. They see me buy stuff. They see the appraisals. They see the amount of the appraisal versus what I paid. They go, okay, this guy's gold. And then it makes it real easy. I mean, they come take me to lunch every once in a while. It's, hey, Tom, can we take you to lunch? And they want to introduce me to whoever else is in the branch that, that they deal with. And you'll eventually become what's called a high net worth individual. I think they have a term for it. High net worth individual within the bank, and that's guys like me and much bigger, and much richer, and those guys get catered to, and they don't want to lose you, and that's part of that's where you want to be. But that's that's how you do it, Harlem. You just build it. You start and you just build, and then your record of success helps a lot. What else?
Is it best to put properties under an LLC?
Yeah, listen, I've talked about that. If you screen through my videos, you'll see I've talked all about that. It doesn't matter. If you're just starting, you can buy it in your name personally. It doesn't matter. But if you're going to do a partnership, you got kids, and there's a lot of reasons for LLCs and limited partnerships. I've already talked about it before. I'll do a thing specifically on that sometime. But I think if you look through my videos, you might find some keywords that'll point you to and answer all that stuff. But otherwise, I'll try to make sure I do another video on that. What else? All right. Hey guys, that's it. I just got to my coffee stop. Me and the boys here are going to have some coffee. Or I am. And they're going to have whatever they're going to drink. But anyways, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. And please share. Let's just get a big group, man, all over the U.S. and the U.K. and and Canada, and we'll make some money together. So I'll talk to you later, and thanks for watching.